How great would it be to get up close and personal with the beauty industry heroes we love and admire, and to ask them, how did you learn to do what you do? I'm Chris Baran, a hairstylist and educator for 40 plus years, and I'm inviting all our heroes to chat and share the secrets of their success. Well, welcome to another episode of Headcases, and check out these figures. How would you love to have an 85% booking rate, 75% rebooking, and a 30% increase in upsales? Today's guests are Amber and Chet Pope, and they're the owners of Salon 27 in Mesa, Arizona, and they're going to share how they got those numbers by simply shifting one thing: incorporating virtual aspect to their consultations. And they'll share a 4-step process on how to do it. Amber, as the salon creative director, brings the creativity and training, and Chet's marketing and data analytics brings the innovation. Together, they combine a beautiful balance of business and artistry. By the way, this husband and wife team just came off a huge high from winning NAHA's Inspiring Salon of the Year award. Kudos to you guys. Besides being profitable business owners, phenomenal educators, and inspiring leaders, I can attest to the fact that on a personal level, they are just great people who give a damn about making our industry better. So let's get into this week's head case, Amber and Chet Pope. My friends, it is so good to see you, and Chet and Amber. I'm so excited to talk about. I've already given you guys this glorious introduction, and we've already let everybody know what it's about. But before we get into it, so first of all, I just want to say welcome to Headcases. It's great to have you guys here. Excited to chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're excited to be here.
So excited.
Happy to see you, Chris.
Well, look at me, blushing.
How could we not?
And I think the last time we saw each other was at Premiere. That's about a month ago, which is a shame because we don't live down the block from one another, but we're both from the same city, and we've always had this eternal, let's get together for dinner, which we got to make, and get together for dinner and drinks. We will do that.
It has to happen.
But hey, why not run into each other in halfway across the country, right?
Very good. Yeah. So we'll see you again at ABS. So
I have to say, Chris, though, when you joined us while we were facilitating there, I don't think I have lit up as much that entire weekend. I was like, Chris, I was so excited to see you and just delighted, and had the biggest squeeze. So thank you for joining us.
I'd say definitely one of the top moments of the weekend.
It was amazing.
Well, listen, that was the top piece of our weekend too, just being in the room with you guys, because we've been friends for a long time, and we've done a few things together. But I want to cut to the chase here, because I want to set people up here, because in the intro, I talked to everybody about 85% booking rate, 75% rebooking, 30% for upselling. I mean, I think you've got to be insane if you're not listening to this to find out how to do that. And I don't, however, I've got that. And if you could just give me the top line of just what was the one thing that you did differently that sparked this, and then I'm going to do a shift, because I want people to know about you after that. But I want to give them a little suspense hook in here. So what was the one thing that you did differently to get those numbers?
Again, I think the easiest way to say what we did in a tidbit would be we gave people an opportunity before they walked in the door.
Got it. Ooh.
And we'll leave it at that, right?
Yes, that was very suspenseful. All right, so give us a little bit of your Salon 127, very brief history, like hair story. Where'd you come from? How did you get? I mean, I think it's not rocket science to think that you're a couple, but well, first let's start with that. How did you guys get together?
Oh my gosh. I've known this guy since I was 16 years old and he was 17. Oh. We met in high school. Yeah. The abridged version of this, Chris, is that I thought he was very cool because he had like a blue mohawk and a dog collar around his neck. And I was like smitten from the second that I saw him on the homeroom announcements.
How could she not be?
I mean, really.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then I realized very quickly that we were really good friends, and he tried from ages 16 until we were 23 and 24 to date me. And I would say no, and no, and no, and no. And then finally one day, Chet, what'd you do?
I just proposed to her. After 8 years of friendship, we'd gotten pretty close, but never romantically. But I always had a crush on her, and like she can lie and say she didn't, but I'm pretty sure she did on me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think again, I asked her for like the last time. I'm like, hey, like let's date, and she's like, no, you're a terrible boyfriend. She's like, and we're too good of friends. Like, I don't want to mess that up. And I'm like, well, why don't we just get married then? I'm like, we already know each other. Isn't dating just about getting to know each other? And at this point, I'm pretty sure I farted in front of you. So it's like, you kind of got rid of the, the weird, dating part. And so, yeah, so that was almost 22 years ago. We got married.
We've been together ever since. We were together before and after, and our first kiss, he proposed to me like just a loose, like, will you marry me? Our first kiss was in Sky Harbor Airport, and we were married. That was in, November. We were married by February. And that's actually February 7th is our anniversary. And that's Salon 27 is Salon 27. It's our anniversary.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Well, first of all, kudos for you, buddy, because if I'm going to go to the dictionary now and look up persistence, I'm going to see your face in there, because that's an awesome story. That is an awesome story. So give us a little bit about the history about the Salon 127. How did that start? How did hair get into this?
So I've been, behind the chair for over 20 years, and really through Chet's encouragement, he used to say, you should do hair. And I was deep in a career in nursing, and I thought, I don't think hair is for me. I'm glad that all of a sudden my life got changed with watching One Haircut. And when I watched One Haircut, I could see the artistry of hair happen. And it really opened my eyes to see that there was something amazing here in an industry that I had no idea could be this. I signed up for hair school. I came home from, when Chet came home from work, I was like, I signed up for hair school. He was like, you finally did. And to his surprise, and so, my journey was much more independent of Chet, him supporting me in the career. But it wasn't until the birth of our second child that Chet was like, I really think that we should go all in and create a space just so that you feel like you can have a home to work in, and we can invite other stylists. And that journey started in 2015. So we're going on 10 years of Salon 27 being born. Our first child turned 1 year, and we signed the lease papers that year.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I think I was working in corporate America and was really just over my job. Amber had, post kids, she ended up renting, like kind of subletting a suite with another stylist, and hated being by herself. And so every day she would come home and just complain about like how much she was just not happy in her space. I wasn't happy in my space. So what should we do? Let's open up a salon.
Wow.
And that's what we did.
The rest is history.
Yeah. And I love it, because I just wrote down persistence, supportive, happy, and intuitive. And I just went, Amber, you better hold on to that guy, because I think that there's going to be some ladies in here that are saying, if that's the kind of guy he is, then they're going to say he's going to be getting phone calls here. And you're going, no.
No, listen, I will take the earrings out and go to
Yeah, he'll
town.
duke it out with anybody
I
else.
will.
Okay, and I know
But
you. I
he's
know
all
you
mine.
will. Okay, that's and so it's awesome. So give us a. So you started the salon, but then now talk a little bit about just the progression of the salon and how it went from that just start up, and then you guys have certainly evolved the footprint of not only just the space, but the education, the systems that you put in place, et cetera. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think right off the bat, so when we initially decided to start up a salon, like I worked in analytics and stuff previously, so I analyzed everything, right? And so the first thing I did, I'm like, we need to find a space that we can get into that if nobody ever wants to work for us, we can still afford to pay the rent and everything. And that's what we did. So we found a small space. It was what, 1,300 square feet in Chandler. Very reasonable rent, and moved in with one employee. Amber reached out to a good handful of her hair friends, and only one of them wanted to take the leap with us. She's still with us today. And did that. Slowly kind of growing. Once people saw like what she was doing there, like they wanted to be part of it.
Because the education was baked in from day one.
Yeah.
Always that, when we first thing we did is like we did some education with our brand partner at the time, and we kind of wrote out like everything we wanted to do, and we have stuck to that from the day we opened to through today.
Yeah.
The big shift though kind of came during COVID, right? So COVID happened. We actually shut down, I think the day before, maybe 2 days before the world said, hey, everybody has to shut down. We had a client in, and it was a scare. So we shut down, and we knew that when we were reopening, we were going to need space. It happened to coincide with our lease coming up in our first space. So we went shopping during COVID, and that's how we got our current space.
Yeah, which is beautiful, I have to tell you. Because you have the loft upstairs, and it's a magnificent, beautiful place that you guys. Yeah, and I just love the space. It's just you walk in there and you feel at home, which I think is great. Now I'm sure everybody is past the suspense now, and they're going, okay, I heard all the numbers: 85% booking, 75% rebook, 30% upsell. So, tell us what you did. Like, what was the thing that happened?
I think that what ended up, over our journey up to this point, what I've really accepted that Chet has brought to the table is the power of invention and tech, and me to be able to lead into it, because like for everybody who is listening, there's always one person in your business who's a resistor, and I'm the one that you have to prove it to. And so Chet came with this idea, and so let them know how this kind of evolved, because then the aha came afterwards.
So as soon as I got more involved with the salon, I really wanted to bring my kind of tech over, because I saw, the very first salon Amber worked at, I would work on Saturdays at the front desk, and everything was on paper and paper books, right? And again, obviously we're significantly past that, but I know the power of the internet. Everyone asks me, where are we going to advertise, whatever? Google, right?
Yeah.
Google's where it's at. So how do you drive people to your Google page, and then how do you drive them to your website? SEO. So we hire a great company that handles our website, does our SEO and everything. And I was on the phone with them, and they were kicking around the idea of launching a virtual consultation. And he's like, hey, would you guys be interested in like trying this out? We're working on it. I need your feedback. I'm like, 100%. I'm going to be the test dummy for everything tech, right? To maybe not Amber's favorite thing. And so one of the things that they did is, we kind of worked through with them to come up with this virtual consultation form, and we launched it live. So the SEO is driving people to our Google page. Google then drives them to our website. And then once they get on their website, the first thing they see is, fill out a virtual consultation form.
I love it.
So, yeah.
So you're now just sort of the baby boomers that are out there, and the people that might not be letter literate. Just to give them a brief overview, SEO is what?
SEO is search engine optimization.
There you go. And
Yep.
and the reason behind that is what?
So, as you know, there's millions of websites, and you want people to find yours.
Yeah.
So what these companies do is, in the back end, in areas you can't necessarily see, they hide a bunch of keywords. And those keywords then drive people, make you show up higher in the search engines.
Got it. Thank you. So now we've got to this virtual consultation, which I love. And, would you agree that consultation can be kind of a buzzword, right? Everybody talks about buzzwords. The manufacturers have their form of a consultation. Every salon that's out there, they do consultations. And, and I know we've said this before on different programs, but when I remember this statistic that said that 97% they did this survey, and they asked customers and they asked salon owners, and they said, "Do you how do you feel about consultation?" And they asked clients if they had a proper consultation, and 97% said no. And then they asked salons and the people that were giving them, and I think it was around 80 or 90% that they said they give a good consultation. And I think the proof is in the pudding, number one, that it's not being done effectively. So, but now you've taken that even beyond that point, because most people think of a consultation, client books. If they're lucky, they might get a consultation in advance. If not, they might get the consultation in their 30-minute or 45-minute booking time. They'll get a 3 to 4 minute consultation that may consist of a few things that they've learned along the way, or even worse still, hey, what you want? So give us a little bit more about, because I have a feeling that's not what you were doing. You were doing something right with your consultations, and then you just evolved it to what it is now. So can you give us a little before and after, like before it was going? And I'm going to direct this one to Amber, because you were a bit of the skeptic on this one from what I'm hearing now.
Yeah.
Surprise. But you were doing something. You probably felt you were doing it right. And then somebody comes up to you and says, listen, the thing that the whole industry tell you should do is we're going to change it and turn it upside down on its head.
Absolutely. And I think that's always your first, the knee-jerk reaction is fear. I'm doing it's fine. Leave it be. Yeah. And I've learned time after time after time to I have to wring out my sponge. I have to take in new ideas. But what we were doing really effectively before was that we had created a signature style consult that's unique to Salon 27. It's a group consultation, and it came from a friend of mine who had actually came to join us in those early days, back when we were in 1,300 square feet, not 3,000 square feet. We were 6 chairs, not 22 chairs, and bringing on our first new team members. And this person who came to work for us didn't understand the color line that we were working with. So every consultation, she was comfortable with the hair cutting, but needed my support with formulating for color. And so that we realized, with the two of us working at it, then began, hey, if I can do it for her, I can do it with this other person. And thus began the group consultation, that we really took legs and ran with it. So every team member provides a consultation that is going to get the information that we need to gain the client's, wants, desires, and end result. Yep. But we're going to do it side by side with a fellow professional. And some salons, when I've shared this in the past, think, oh my gosh, doesn't the client get so overwhelmed or have lack of trust with the client or with the service provider that they've booked with? The answer is actually no. They feel even more valued. They feel like 2 heads are better than one, and they feel like they're getting a VIP rock star, experience in our chair. And it does twofold. It gives the client what they're looking for, because I might have an idea that somebody else didn't think of, or vice versa.
Yeah.
We're all finding ways to bridge the gap of language and, picking up on the nuances of what a client says. They might be sharing boundaries with you, but I missed it, but somebody else heard it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't pit the stylist and the client head to head, because we have somebody else that heard the conversation as well. So if I have to go back to our team member and support them on maybe something that was missed or get clarification, I have two people to go to and be like, talk to me about how the service went. Where do you think that we had our biggest gains? Where did we miss the mark, if we missed the mark? And it has been a foolproof way for us to really gain enormous client satisfaction. So we knew that was working. And when Chet had this idea, I'm like, you're going to disrupt everything that we're already doing. And Chet, if you don't know, is the king disruptor. And again, why I actually do really love him, because he does push into new lanes. And so he came up with this idea as like, why don't we try to see if this virtual thing's going to work? And my response was like, we had so many things going on at the time that I wasn't going to like die on that hill to say, no, I'm not going to do it. So I kind of was like, all right, let it go. Let's see what happens. And then something really interesting came out of it. So I think that there was this awareness that happened. And I would always say that it took a name. And what I say about it took a name, Chris, is that the virtual consultation had been rolling, and they come into my inbox as like a submission.
Do you want us to walk through kind of the way that we?
Yeah. Well, you know what I'd love you to do is, just so everybody, because I'm sure that everybody is, there's one, okay, what the hell different? What is they do? What is they doing that's so different? So if we could do it, let's take it from a 35,000 foot level, and then let's break it down. So if there's three things, because I know we went, just so I don't want to sound like I'm so brilliant at all these questions. We had a conversation beforehand, and they told me about it, and that's why I'm so excited about this. But if you could say, look, what are the steps? Just give us the steps first that you do in this new system of consultations. What's kind of the 3 or 4 steps that you do, and then let's break them down so everybody knows what they are.
Lead it up.
So step one, people go online and fill out this virtual consultation form. Yep. It's only a handful of steps. There's other solutions that are out there that are more automated that, also are very great products. But this one is it's streamlined. So they just fill in a couple steps. One of the things we like about it, though, is it has a comment box where people can put in their feels. So if you're like a little bit of an introvert or something like that you maybe don't enjoy communicating person to person, but you're a keyboard warrior, you can put everything out there, and we find that people do. So that's step one. Yeah. That goes into our email box, right? Which then goes to myself, Amber, and our concierge team at the front desk. What we'll then do, and in this consultation form, they are able to use their phone to snap a couple photos of their current look that they have, and also add a few inspiration photos. So what we'll do is we analyze it. I told you I was analytic, right?
No way.
we analyze it, and we handpick who we feel the best person for this client would be.
And it did take a little bit of, coaching and training for our concierge team to understand the looks that we're seeing. So I did do some workshopping with them. I'm like, okay, clients giving you this as like exercises. I would just pull up Pinterest pictures and run skill sets with the concierge team. And then if they don't think that they can handle it on their own, being that we've done a fair amount of education for them in preparation for all of the virtual to be launched, then they can come to, a leadership team member and be like, hey, this one's a little bit tricky. This is what I'm thinking. Can you give me some guidance on it?
But
so
aside from just looks too, we also ask them to go through and read the comments and see the verbiage.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody that feels like maybe they're like a little bit nervous to come into a new salon, everything like that, like maybe you pick the staff member we have that is the most outgoing, caring one that we know everybody feels comfortable in their chair. So it's not just in the look, it's also reading the verbiage to really make that good connection.
And I think what's really interesting about the ability for someone to be sharing what their wants are, what their boundaries are, what their goals are, and where they're currently at, it opens this dialogue for them to do. And normally it's like 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. at night. It's the first time that these clients are actually thinking about themselves for the entire day. So a lot of them come after working hours. And then what's interesting about it is we gain more information from their sharing than we actually see when we're in the chair. That takes longer to get down to that nitty gritty. I use the analogy of, I know that I have this ailment. It's been plaguing me forever. I made an appointment to the doctor. I sit on that table. The doctor walks in. The doctor goes, "Hey, how you doing?" "Great, everything's fine." And then you don't say all the things that you wanted to have happen. It's so true. And I think that there is this sort of guarded in communication that happens when there is a client to professional. You're not on the same level, even though we want to be. And back to your point, stylists think that they're doing it, and they're doing it to the best of their ability. And clients think they're sharing to the best of their ability, but there's still this gap that's happening in communication. This allows us a nugget into it from the beginning.
Yeah, and I just want to pause that just for a second on one level, because the idea of that is that it's the time element that you have. Because if people aren't booking, and I'm going to use, for those of you listening, I'm using air quotes because this is silly, because, if we don't book out time and they're doing it in their skill time, that they're trying to get this information out, it's rushed. They have to, they might be thinking more about the service than they are exactly about the positive experience that they're creating. And that might actually shut down a bit of the client as well. So I think this whole thing is really, really, I'm going to use the revolutionary, even though revolutionary now in our business now with AI and internet, et cetera, is usually a matter of a couple months. But I think you guys are hitting on something. So I got the first, I want to just review. The first step is they've got the virtual consultation. And I think the first time that I heard virtual, then it was like a robot or somebody actually talking to a person. But it's the website that gives them the openness to get down their true thoughts, feelings, pictures, et cetera. Yeah. So that's step one. And then two is the concierge, where you're matching people. And to me, just like, there's a couple of things that I hope people are catching here. Just like when you used my name, you said Chris. First of all, you start to connect, and then but now when you said concierge, and I went, "This is a salon and you have concierge service?" That's usually high end. And so luxury comes to my mind. Service comes to my mind. Caring for people come to my mind. So the next step after that is what?
So then once we've analyzed it and kind of made our decisions on, where we need to put this person, we reach out to them. We obviously try to call them first. If we can't get a hold of them via call, we text them, and we'll then, essentially arrange the appointment with the client. The nice thing, though, about this is because we've already taken these steps, we're going to make sure it's booked properly.
Oh, and the staff is so happy about that because they are booked correctly.
Here's the thing in the hair world that I've noticed as an outsider that's came into your industry here, is that every salon does the same services. Nobody calls it the same thing. Right. It couldn't be more confusing to clients. And so again, we're no different. We call things, I'm sure, different than other people do. And so when people are blindly going online and booking or whatever, because again, people are more likely to book online than pick up the phone or call. I mean, depending on age and things like that. But your younger generation 100% doesn't want to talk to somebody on the phone.
Right.
And so oftentimes they'll go on and they're like, "Oh, I want all purple hair, all over color." Yeah. Well, maybe that's not the right service, right? So by doing that through this step, we're making sure we're booking and setting up expectations with the client right off the bat. Again, this is before they've even walked in the door.
Wow. So so now that you call or text, right? And so now they're more intrigued. And so now is this part where when you say with the number that I have, which just blew me away when you were talking about an 85% booking. So instead of somebody fishing and going from salon to salon saying, can you have I'd like to have a consultation, that you actually hook them. So you get an 85% from start to when they're in your chair, 85% booking rate.
Correct. Yeah. Once of the people that have filled out the form, 85% of them actually book an appointment with us.
I bet we have something in common. I have this love-hate relationship. I hate paying for something that I'm not using. I hate working in a small, cramped box. Yet, I love working in a cool salon that impresses my clients, and I love the culture and synergy of a team while enjoying the freedom of being my own boss. You too? What if all that was available to you at the salon you rent from? Meet Artist on Go, a game-changing way to rent salon space. With Artist on Go, you only pay for the time you're behind the chair. You can choose a salon that fits your vibe, location, and amenities. With Artist on Go, you're a part of a stylist community, not hustling alone. Plus, you get to enjoy perks like clean towels and back bar supplies. Check out Artist on Go, built for stylists serious about their clients and growing their brand without the hassles of managing a space. Here's the kicker. You can save more than 50% on your rent. To find out more, go to bit.ly/artistongocb. That's bit.ly/artistongocb. And so now is this the last step of you do an IRL then, right? An in real life? You do an in real life with their matched up hairstylist. And is this still a group consult or is it a single?
It'll be a group as well.
A group. And who consists in the group?
It's honestly peer to peer, so it doesn't matter who that is. It doesn't have to be like a level 1 to a higher level. It's just 2 of our team members that are licensed professionals. Oftentimes, if I am feet on the ground in the salon, it's me buzzing around, jumping in, weighing in, giving my 2 cents. But the team knows that the value in what the group consultation is. So a lot of times it's kind of their chair neighbor. Hey, pop over. I want to introduce you to Jenny. It's her first time here. She did she did a virtual consultation with me. This is our plan. I just kind of want to run by a few ideas with you. Nice to meet you, Jenny. And now they have even more connection to the team. So they got it as that first impression without a first impression on the virtual. Then they get to meet the lovely concierge team who are so nice and welcoming and kind. And then they walk in the door and then they get to meet another 2 of our team members.
Or more.
Or more.
We call it group consultation because
sometimes it's more.
Sometimes maybe there's already 2 and then Amber pops over. So now you have 3.
It could be.
You know what I just realized this when we're talking about this now. I don't know if other people have done it, but I just realized when I was in the salon all the time, we didn't call it a group consultation. But and here's what you said fart at the beginning, so I feel I can say fart now. But sometimes if you can have a brain fart, and you're creatively, you're just going, I know that I can do something, I just can't think of anything right now. And in our salons, and this was quite a number of years back, we used to call somebody over and I'd say, hey, Greg, could you come over here? I just need a creative bounce. And then we would call it a creative bounce, but that's actually what you're doing. You're mixing collab and creativity together to, if you've got 2 people involved, 1 and 1 equals 3 because it's greater than the sum.
Mm-hmm. Totally. It's all for the benefit of the client's education about how much we take our craft seriously and our professionalism and the hardship, the hard work that it takes to actually get those gains. So it's all with the client's involvement as well. And I love to see when clients are like, wow, you guys really care about hair. I'm like, yes. We
Well,
do.
and I'm sorry for cutting you off there, Chet,
No.
but you care, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's just not when people, like you said, say, we do the same thing, same services, different names, but it's still the same environment. You walk in, you went to the front desk, you got your consultation, you had your shampoo, whatever order they're doing it in. You come over, you have a quick 2-minute conversation. But yours in your system, you're really getting to know them, and they're getting to know you, and that's where I can see the trust already building in.
When we try to make it special, I feel like, if you go and look at our reviews, and I think that's one of the things that, Amber kind of started it off right away. And she mentioned that before, but like I would go in and I would read our Google reviews. And when we first kind of started doing, opened up, it was very unique to people. But they, in the reviews, they would talk about it, and they would say, like, I felt like a princess. I had everybody in the salon over consulting with me and talking to me, and it made them feel special.
Yeah.
And so we value that trust so much because we know how lightning fast the speed of trust is. Like, boom, boom, you can lose it so fast.
Yeah.
So when those guests walk in the door too, we also know that because of our reputation, because of what is out there online about who we are running a race with ourselves. So our team, regardless if it's first appointment, repeat 10th appointment, virtual consultation, coming in for the first time, no matter what it is, we always have to meet the expectation of what the client's perceiving that they're going to get based on our prior experience with them, as well as what they've read in advance before they walk in our doors. We have zero room for error, and the team takes that very seriously. And I'm really honored that they do. They get behind this idea. This isn't something that I just forced upon them to make them be like, and you have to, and it will be like this, and it's going to be so stagnant. It's organic, and it's trust building and welcoming.
Can I push that just a little further?
Yeah.
Because first of all, I can see how you use the word organic, because this has been developing in your business over X number of years, right? Now, what do you say to the owner team that's out there now that tomorrow we're going to change and we're going to go to this system, and talk about disruption?
Yeah.
How do you tell people that when it's not developed organically, how do you help people ease into that system?
The whys.
Yeah, the whys.
We got to tell why.
Yeah.
What's the gain is enormous.
For us, I think when we bring in somebody new and we're telling this to them, I mean, it's sort of like what you're asking, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Is how do we get these new people in and tell them two things? First off, client experience. Clients love it. They're able to, make sure that what they're asking for is getting heard. Secondly, staff protection. You having that other ear next to you, make sure that you didn't mishear somebody. Right. The only times we see somebody come into our salon for like a revisit, we call it, right? Come in for a tweak in their service, is if somebody was like, well, I couldn't find anybody, they're too busy, and they didn't do the group consultation. In 10 years, we've not had somebody come back from a group consultation to have their hair fixed.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen because because the client mindset is different, because they know that they can't change their mind because 2 or 3 people heard what they're asking for, or we just hit the mark because we had multiple people listening and then conversing about it during formulation or whatever to make sure that we're hitting that mark. So again, when you're launching it with new people, hey, this is a great client experience, it elevates the service. Secondly, this is insurance for you. That's how I sell it to our new staff. I'm like, it's basically an insurance plan, because it's protecting you, because it's not your word against their word. There's us, and it's not an us against them per se, but it just generally doesn't come up that way.
Yeah.
Because multiple people heard it.
Yeah, I feel like the organic way to begin that, if you're for listeners out there who are like, how do I even start? We started with practicing with consultations with each other as a group, where you're taking the pressure off of it too. And that's a good way to begin it and begin to learn what language works and what doesn't work. But it's not perfect from the beginning. And, just like, your first graduated Bob wasn't perfect from the beginning. You got to work at it. It wasn't. I say all the time, at least I'm not a tattooer like my brother, because if I had to stare at the first graduated Bob I ever cut for the rest of my life, I would be like mortified. So no, listen, we have to grow, right? And you go in baby steps. So I think that it's starting with trying to bring your team together to do this is really the first step to see what's organic for you, your culture, your team, but try. Just like I tried to do this virtual consultation, and we have enormous gains. And now I'm so passionate to speak about it because I know it's working. And it was a big light bulb moment. So it's those little steps that build upon, and then you look back in 10 years and you're like, wow, look at the online reputation, look at our client retention, look at the new tech we've brought in. So lean in.
You know what I'm loving what you're saying, because what I heard was, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't take criticism well, but I'm hearing is baby steps, meaning, did you mean that just pick one and start with one? Absolutely. And just do that?
If you're not doing it right now, it's not like you have to jump, head first in and all right, tomorrow we're doing everybody. Just maybe pick like the one new client you have that day.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back, because I'm going back to these numbers, because I think numbers don't lie. 85% booking, 75% rebook, 30% upsell. So, and I'm going to throw one thing out you that the first thing that I would do, I think I'm kind of a little of the marriage of the two of you. Your brains are kind of like my brain works. I'm also the creative, but I've had to learn to be analytical and to create systems. And I'm going to share with you and to the people that out there, and I'm not going to go too far into the name, but it's called the PERT method of planning. And that just stands for Performance Evaluation and Review Technique. Now, and that was developed by NASA. And the only thing different is it was Kennedy that went to NASA when they had the race to the moon, and he said, how long is it going to take for us to put a man on the moon? And NASA said 30 years. And they did that with conventional thinking. I do this today, I just do the next tomorrow, the next the day after that, and then where do I end up getting? That got him to 30 years. Kennedy said to him, you need to, I want it done in 6. And he did, not because it's easy, but because it's hard. A very terrible impression. But what they had to do is they said, okay, if we landed on the moon today, then what would happen just before that and before that and before that? And they narrowed it down to 6 years. So that whole diatribe that I gave you there is when I would say to people is if they want to start today and end up in, let's just say in 3 months or 4 months, that they say that's the day that we want to be grounded in how to do this system, then when's the piece when I want to have my in real life thing down? When's the part when I want to do my concierge? When's the one before that when I want to be able to see it? And just before that and before that. Yeah. And then just pick those and then train on those as you go along. So
that's kind of how we built it. Like in all reality, you know what I mean? Like we did the group consultation, and then from there, then we kind of upped our front desk to a concierge team, and then we launched the online form. Like we did it backwards.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But and again, I think it's getting that group consult part down first.
Yeah,
right. It's something you should. I hope you're already doing some sort of consultation anyways. And if you're not, that's the first place to start, right? Start consulting your clients. Take that step. Start with that. Perfect that first. Then, maybe while you're getting the polish on the consultation, then you start working with your front desk and elevate them. There's classes out there like we've always sent, anytime we hire new front desk people, we send them to the Summit front desk workshop where they teach them luxury language and things like that. And it like damn near overnight, like makes them
Switch
100 times better. Yeah. And so we've always, been a fan of teaching that.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I always say, don't be afraid of a little technology.
Well, yeah, and it's also about people don't know what they don't know. So somebody's coming in and it's a new front desk person, front desk manager, concierge person. They just don't know what they don't know. And so you've got to teach them and make them aware of what that is, and then get them a chance to grow, to make mistakes. Because they're always just saying, there's this thing that we have in training that we talk about. The first thing is awareness. Awareness is just you don't know that you don't know, or you just became aware that you didn't know. And then the next one is every time you're doing something, it's mechanical, meaning I might have to think of a script that I have to do, or what do I say at this point, or I've got to think about it. And then the next stage is it becomes natural. And then that's where it's fluid, everything, you can do everything. And then the next part is where you're at a championship level. It's where you can think about things, you can teach it, you're creative, and you can even adapt to things about it. So I think this is so absolutely amazing in what you guys have. And so to the person that's out there, the salon owner that's out there, and is just saying, this sounds like a lot for me to do. And it could be that I don't necessarily mean it to be the same thing, but if they're just afraid to do it, afraid to start, it just sounds like so much. What would you say to them?
It sounded like so much for me. It sounded like so much that I was going to possibly lose and risk or be fearful of. And I think that we have to give ourselves some pats on the back to remember what you're really truly capable of doing in one day if you try. Mm-hmm. And so if you think about it not being overwhelming, but you're thinking about what's on the schedule today. How do I want to show up for my business to welcome these people who are on the schedule today? What do I want my team to give them, and how do I want them to interact? And then you were successful for that day. Your mission was achieved for that day. Now you look at the next day. Now you look at the day from there. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's where you begin to get legs to walk at a faster pace, to learn to have a longer stride. And you'll be stretching your muscles to be able to take on new practices that might come your way and be open to it. So that's what I want to share, is that, like, give yourself the credit because you're doing it every day. The ownership of a salon takes so much courage, so much guts and bravery to do it. And so for those that are listening, you're doing it every single day. And how are you going to make it better tomorrow? So thinking about what's happening today and investing in that for tomorrow is the only way that I could wrap my head around when things feel really scary. And when I get pushed, and not to say that I don't push this one sitting next to me, because I push him in all sorts of ways. But in this lane particularly, I wasn't sure that he was going to get my buy-in on it. But I tried, and so I think that's what's really important.
Well, I think one of the things too is that, we're always going to be one of the first people out there to try some of these new things, mainly because I see new shiny things. I like shiny things. And I'm like, Amber, let's try this. Do they always work? No, they don't.
Plenty that have not.
But at the same time, because like I'm at least a little bit more technical than the average salon owner from my background. Whenever I launch something though, like I'm going to be like right there to make sure I can rapidly react if something goes wrong. Yeah. I don't want anybody to have like a poor, experience. And so I will be there. If I turn something on and it goes poorly, I'm going to turn it off quickly, figure out what I need to tweak, and then I'm going to turn it back on. We already did some of the legwork for everybody that's out there. We've got numbers that we're sharing, with you. There's not as much at risk. We've kind of helped work that out. And so use our numbers. Like right now, you went back to some of them, the 30% add-on services, right? Those are mainly treatments. What happens is we've already built so much trust before they walk in the door by them filling that out, us, going through and analyzing it and then matching them and reaching out. And then they come in, and then they have this group consultation. Also, the big thing in our salon is we don't sell snake oil, right?
Right.
I'm not going to sell something to somebody that they don't need. If I saw any of our staff doing that, like that would be like a sit down and like immediate, like final warning. Like we don't push things that people don't need. It's all about trust, right? So if we sit down in that in-person consultation, as soon as you actually touch their hair, like we're in Arizona, it's dry.
Yeah.
Find me somebody who doesn't probably need a moisturizing treatment, right?
Yeah.
But again, if we sit through and talk through all that trust we built up to, like I said, 30% of them are buying some sort of upgraded service.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the service, the 75% rebooking, that's before they leave the door.
Yeah.
So all that trust that we built,
and to think and I'm, because I'm a capitalist and I'm proud of it, but for the owners that are out there and for the stylists that are if you call it up, some people don't call it upselling, but it's really what it is. And sales are good because sales is nothing more than solving problems. But it goes to the bottom line. If you don't do it, it's capital, it's money, it's revenue, it's your wages that have just gone away when they had a perfect opportunity for it. It goes directly to your bottom line. It goes directly to your profitability. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think that this is so brilliant. And
and for the stylists too, one of the things that we do is I will, like in our coachings with the stylists, I'll break down their approximate take home for every one of these that they do. So I'll be like, your commission's this. How much is your average tips? 20%, 30%, whatever. Okay, we'll say 20%. So if you're making, say it's a $60 service, you're now getting an extra $12 just in tip.
Yeah.
Plus your commission. So, hey, look, at every time you do one of these, you walk away with $40. It takes you 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's enough to get a stylist excited.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's just, we definitely want our team to get behind the good business gains that there are for them. But I think what's really special about, our team, one, that they're doing that and they're educating and upselling and they're bought into why the WIFM for them, right? Like Chet just said, but also with the virtual clients that are gained to Salon 27, they're stickier. So meaning that the effort that they took to fill out that form, they're 85%, they're coming in, and then 75%, they're booking back in to see us again. They're going to have a longer life in the salon and upgrading their experience each and every time. I'm forecasting that already because we're seeing it on that first and second and third appointments right now. And so as our journey with these virtuals, I can't wait to further share the data of how long do they stay with the life of the salon.
Well, and Amber started kind of talking about it, and then we moved away from it. But again, kind of, I feel like this is kind of a good part to circle back. She said it all started with a name, right? And so, if you want to finish,
I did all start with the name. And I'll to summarize this very quickly is that I did get the emails in the inbox, like Chet was mentioning. The virtuals come to him, myself, and the concierge team. And then what ends up happening is that I was scrolling through and I was like, I see someone on the schedule and I recognize their name. And I can't figure out why in Tarnation I recognize their name. They don't have any history with us. And I see another one. I recognize that name. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It was like a light bulb. All of a sudden, I recognize that I was realizing that the people who are coming in our inbox are actually now on the schedule. Okay, so there's something here. This has been going for maybe 2 or 3 months. We had been rolling this out. And I went back into my inbox. I looked up name after name after name, cross-referenced to the POS and the scheduler. And I'm finding a person, I'm finding them, I'm finding that one. Now I want to go into a deep dive analytic. And so without him knowing, I grinded at looking at my email list and looking at the scheduler. And then I was looking at what their appointments look like if they've already been in, cross-referencing how many came in, what did they do while they were in our doors, and I came to Chet with this data. And you know what he did the first thing? I'm going to tell you what Chet did the first thing. He ran my numbers, and he was literally like,
I checked her work.
Yeah. You're right. And I'm like, we have something here. And so it all started with, for me, he had the ball rolling. I got the buy-in when I realized it all started with the main. Wow. So something really special there.
Yeah, I love what you said earlier about, that you've given kudos to the salon owners because they're, entrepreneurship is not necessarily for the faint of heart. However, the rewards are amazing when you can pull stuff off and systematize everything. And that's what I loved that you guys have. And I can't believe I'm looking at the clock right now, and we're almost up to an hour. And I know I definitely would love to, have you back. But I want to run into some rapid fire. And again, this is just really quick answers. You can pass on anything you don't want to, but here, I'm going to do this. And I'm interested on this first one, because, you've got the analytical one, the creative person is, I'd love to hear from both of you, what turns you on in the creative process?
I love a lightning strike moment.
Love it.
Bam, I saw something. I want to create that. I want to turn it into hair.
Good. Love it.
I love innovation. Anytime somebody comes up with something new to better anything in the process, it makes me want to try to make it better.
Yeah. I'm sporting. There you go. And what stifles it? What stifles creativity?
Naysayers.
The lack of passion.
In life, what do you love the most?
I love this guy.
Aw.
You stole my answer. I love this guy too.
Listen.
Oh, no. No, to me, again, aside from the obvious, which would be like wife and our kids and stuff, I was drawn into this industry kicking and screaming, and somehow I actually really, really love the beauty industry.
I do too.
That's awesome. Well, and I'm going to, you gave me a great segue in there because, actually, before you do it, what do you dislike the most about life in general?
Chet has so many dislikes.
He has so many what?
Dislikes.
Yeah, we'll need a whole nother episode for dislikes.
Yeah, well, just top one.
I have a lifelong motto that says, never trust anything without shoulders. I hate snakes.
There you go. Well, and so you picked Arizona. Good one.
I know.
Top one for me, lettuce.
Lettuce. I've got to introduce you to Adrian. So he works for us, and he doesn't like anything green.
No, that's good too.
And the industry, what do you love the most?
Young talent. Young, excited talent.
My favorite thing in the industry is sitting down and talking with other owners.
And what do you dislike the most in our industry?
Gatekeeping.
Naysayers.
Person that you admire the most?
So hard. I'm such a fangirl of so many. I am not gonna just do this because he's sitting next to me, but I'm actually gonna say I admire Chet so much because not only does he lean into this business, he makes it better. He's a helping hand across so many avenues of it, but he pushes me in ways that I can't push myself. So I admire you.
Ditto, the exact same. She pushes me. We push each other out of our comfort zones to really try to make each other better.
Yeah. Do you have any screw you moments? I don't want to, like what are you trying to do to me?
All the time.
That create friction?
Yes, but we
know how to work through it. Counseling.
We work through it. I mean, we have tools to be able to do it.
Yeah. Most prized possession.
NAHA Inspiring Salon of the Year award.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The first NAHA I ever touched was that one. So
and congratulations again on that, guys. You guys deserve that.
Thank you
was
so much.
awesome. And Amber, was that a ditto or?
It's a ditto. It's a ditto. I think I really 20 years of this industry inspiring me. How cool to be honored to be something inspirational to it.
Yeah,
So not to
yeah.
tear up again, but that was a big moment.
Yeah, well, and worthy, and very worthy. Person you wish you could meet?
Oh, I wish that, and it was so close and it never happened, but I really wanted to meet, no, I don't know who you think I'm going to say, but I'm going to say Sassoon. I really wish that I could have met Sassoon. It was like, and then not to be.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, so if I could have ever, it would have been that.
I thought you were going to say Joan Jett because I've given you multiple opportunities.
I love Joan Jett. Joan, I love you. I'd love to go hang out with you.
I would say Steve Jobs. I mean, obviously he passed years ago, but just to sit in a room and I watch him yell at people, but also just try to absorb some of that brilliance.
Yeah. Something that people don't know about you.
I am I'm naturally very shy, and so I've had to really learn to be outgoing and more forward and vivacious because my inclination is to be the quiet book nerd that Chet met when he was 17 and I was 16. I've grown into my own.
Yeah.
For me, I actually really like reading. Most people probably wouldn't do it because I'm very kind of
non-scholar.
Yeah, I don't speak well. I'm not like a scholarly type folk, but I actually like sit down and read a good like autobiography, man. Like that's my jam.
Yeah, I use words.
Words are hard.
Words good.
Okay, month off. Where would you go? What would you do? No hair, nothing. Where would you go?
Mine's easy. Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's my favorite place.
Oh, Hawaii? Mm-hmm. Love it.
Yep.
My favorite is New York. I love it. Has my heart and soul.
Thing that terrifies you?
Not being on the forefront of what the industry is doing and happening. I truly, like, I don't want to be the equivalent of 1984 rolling the same permed roller set. Like, I don't. Like, we can pay tribute to what we've done in the past. I'm not saying that.
Yep.
But I want to always have my ear to the ground and know what's happening. I don't want to get dusty.
Yep.
Mine, you kind of mentioned it in there, 1984, if you remember the book. Yeah, that terrifies me.
Hear, hear. Okay, here we go. Favorite cuss word?
You start.
Mine's probably shit.
Shit.
Yeah. Because it can be good, it can be bad. I mean, it's very versatile.
Yeah.
I'm a very passionate person and I throw out motherfucker so much. I really do. And I have such a potty mouth. Chet knows that, like, the kids know that I curse like a sailor. I am so sorry. I know I don't present like I have the most foul mouth, but I
She actually makes me
blush. Oh, I get. No, that's called the learned experience. Favorite comfort food?
Curry.
Tacos.
What did you say? Tacos?
Tacos.
Love it. What's your favorite taco?
I like chicken tinga.
Something in the industry that you haven't done but you'd want to.
Oh, I want to go visit the Paul Mitchell production facility.
Oh,
I really do. I want to see all of the scientific glory and work.
I want to go to their Awapui farm.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, and now here's what I'm gonna. Before I tell you, I won't I wouldn't change anything. But if you had one do-over, what would that be? Something you could do over, that a mistake you made, something that happened in your life or in the industry, whatever.
I would do over learning to stand firmly in my own salon space as an actual leader. about 3 years before I decided to finally do it.
Oh, good for you.
I let it run me, and I wasn't running it.
There you go.
I would have went to hair school.
Oh, wow. Never
I'm
too
still
late, buddy.
nudging. You tell him, Chris.
Never
you
too
tell
late.
him.
Never too late.
I've been looking it up.
Okay. Tomorrow you couldn't do hair. Nothing in the industry. What would you do?
Oh. I think I would jump on Chet's prior career and do something in music.
Yeah, I go back to music.
Maybe I go get a job at the Punk Rock Museum.
Okay, now I've got one last question for you. But if people want to know, like, do you do classes? If people want to hire you to do something, will you come in and teach people? If they said, look, I've got a salon, I need you to come in and teach me how to do this, how would they get a hold of you?
Probably the best way to reach me, and I'll let Chet share the other credentials, but on Instagram, I'm Amber Pope Hair, Pope, Pope Hair. And then you can always find me that way. And then I know we've got our...
Yeah, I mean, you can go on our website. Our website's salon27az.com. And we do have a reach out to us form you can fill out on there. It's sort of like a baby version of our consultation form, but it's just for people who want to talk to us. They can fill that out. Or you can email info@salon27az.com.
Love it.
Yeah. And the salon's Instagram is salon27az.
Love it. Okay. Last question. If you had one wish for our industry, what would it be?
I think more connection, more trust between each other, more sharing. So always thank you to Chris, because you do it to the most epic heights. So thank you for that. But more of us need to be doing this.
Agreed.
I'm going to piggyback on that. And what I'll say is, when I talk to salon owners so often, they always tell me it's so refreshing to sit down and talk to somebody like me and Amber, because they really just owner to owner. They love the connection, and they tell me, I don't have this in my area, nobody does this, but everybody tells me that exact same thing. I'm pretty sure everybody wants it.
Yep.
They just don't know to reach out and go and talk to each other and
find a neighbor, find a friend.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you this, that it's interesting, because we wanted to know about consultation, and I think people are very religious about hairdressing, the ones of us that are in there, like swimwear, I always say. And if you wanted to find out stuff that and wanted to know what we gave you, well, we went directly to the Pope. And that's why I want to just say to both of you, thank you so much. When we're off air, we're going to set a time that we're going to get together and do drinks and dinner. So I just want to say, for the both of you, for not only just being incredible in their industry, but just really incredible human beings, I just want to say thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Chris. We love you.
Thank you, Chris, so much.
Cheers. Thanks again for watching this episode. And if you liked what you heard, remember to smash that like or follow button, depending on your preferred platform. And make sure to share it with anyone you know that might be a fellow Headcase. Headcases is produced by Cut Action Media, with Marjorie Phillips doing the planning parts, Lee Baran on the video bits, and Adrian Taverner mixing the audio jazz.